Hey everyone, what is up? Welcome back to Higurashi When They Cry. Today will be episode 12, I think? Which I believe also makes this part 5 of chapter 2. So part of the reason I don't really remember is the fact that this episode was not, or this intro was not recorded before the video. It was actually recorded after. I'm in the process of editing the last episode, and I decided it was too long and split it in half. I mentioned that in the outro, because I had to record that. Now I have to record this. I can safely say that, this is, last episode was an interesting one. And, what with Shion just getting super close to Keiichi and us finally realizing what Mion's issue was and why she had been so upset, and then we finally go to resolve it by buying her that doll, and then Mion's actually in there, and it turns out Shion wasn't pretending to be, or Mion wasn't pretending to be Shion, at least that time. Yikes. Yeah, that's a little awkward, huh? So we're going to transition straight into the episode. I really enjoyed playing it. I really hope you guys enjoy watching it. I want to see how this plays out. The next day. It was a strange day, and was desperate to regain her composure. Every time our eyes met, she would say that she had something to do, or that she had used the washroom and run off. Unable to just watch, Rena was taking care of her the entire time. Even Rena was wrong. Sheesh.
今日のミオンさん、徹底的に変ですわね。
Yeah.
一部始終を知ってはいるんだが、何とも説明しづらい。
女の子には不安定になる時もあるのです。
I mean, I guess, but
放っておいてあげるのが一番なのですよ。
I feel like if he lets this alone, like leaves this alone for too long, it's just gonna create more problems. Turning around, I saw Rena calling me from the hallway. Wondered what it was.
ケイチくん、こっちこっち。
なんだよ、こんなとこに呼んで。内緒話か？
Probably not. Or well, sort of.
その、災難だったみたいだね。
Yeah. The absolute worst failure it could have been. Yeah. He came to the right realization. He just, made one crucial mistake.
みーちゃん、かなり壊れてたけど、なんとか直しておいたから。
よく直せたな。一体どうやって？
テレビと同じ。斜め45度くらいの角度で、えいって。
Oh god, did she slump Mion? Saying that, she made a chopping motion. I can't tell if you're joking or not, right?
明日からは大丈夫だから。だけど、ケイチくんにもお願いしたいことがあるの。
Probably what you were trying to do from the start.
悪気はないんだが、なぜか罪の意識もある。何でも聞くぞ。
みーちゃんはね、昨日までの数日間のこと、なかったことにするから。
Never happened, huh? I see. Well, that's one way to run from it.
だからね、ケイチくんもなかったことにしてあげて。
I really feel like this is a terrible plan, but like...
それでみーちゃん、いつも通りだから。
そんな簡単なことで、本当に大丈夫なのか？
お願いだから、みーちゃんの心の整理がつくまで、そっとしておいてあげてよ。
I mean, fair enough. Let her get things in order and then we can address it. But it just seems like... I don't know. I'm worried, of course, that knowing this game, that those feelings will turn into resentment and we're gonna have shank kind of issues. Like... Ugh, but...
わかったよ。
Even though I shouldn't have been at fault, for some reason I felt guilty. The one at fault here was the one who knew about the entire situation and pretended to be Mion for an entire day. Shion. Ugh. But she never once said that she was Mion. So was it just the one day then? Like, was it really just... Was Shion only the phone call and... I'm confused. Was Shion only the phone call and then the last day at Angel Mort? Or was she all of the Shion appearances? They made it seem like the one who brought the lunch was, or the bento, right? Whatever. The one who brought the bento was actually Mio. Like, that's what Shion's making it seem like, but I don't know. She's lied enough, right? I don't know how much I can believe that. Seems like it very well may have been. Especially given the response to that whole situation. If that was Shion, then, or Mion the whole time, pretending to be Shion, then at least I was right about that much. But, like, if that's what it was up until the last day. But, I mean, it seems kind of likely to me. Especially given that Rena mistook it too. I think Rena knew what was going on. And that's why she was surprised too. I don't know. I might be misreading this. I'm not fully grasping how that, how that was, I guess. What am I supposed to be angry at? Seeing me stomping the ground impatiently, Rena giggled.
でも、ケイチ君も分かったでしょ?
Yeah.
みーちゃんにも可愛いところがあるんだって。
Rena talked in a calm voice as her hair rustled in the wind.
ああ、退屈しないやつだということが分かった。
よかった。
Following this curt reply, Rena looked up at the sky and stretched.
ケイチ君がそれに気づいてくれれば、この数日間の出来事はすぐに笑い話になるんだよ。
Man, do I hope so, but man, would I not be surprised if this somehow went horribly wrong in every imaginable way. Copying Rena, I also began to stretch as I looked at the sky. The clear sky towered into the distance.
今日は部活も何もなし。
Yeah, I wonder why.
今日だけは申し訳ないけどケイチ君、下校は一人でいいかな。
Yeah, probably for the best.
明日からは元通りだから、今日だけ。ね。
If all it took for everything to go back to normal was to leave Mion alone for today, and it was an easy decision to make.
分かったよ。ミオンに面と向かって言えないから、なんだか申し訳ないな。謝る。
元はといえば、ケイチ君が無神経なことを言うからいけなかったんだよね。これに懲りて少しはデリカシーってものを身につけるんだよ。
Yeah, true.
へいへい、努力します。
You're not wrong. That day was the shortest day of my life. Rena was talking to Mion while accompanying her around the entire time. It looked like a really fun conversation, so I reflexively thought about joining in. I had made a promise not to. It seemed that Mion was also trying her best to ignore me. So likewise, I did my best to ignore her. For the first time in a while, I ate lunch alone. Mion and Rena ate theirs by themselves. As I let out a sigh in my ashen mood, Rika-chan came over and patted me on the head.
ケイチもミーもいっぱいいっぱいお勉強しましたですね。
Yeah, that's one way to put it. I'd never say it like that. It made it sound like we were having romantic problems. I don't like that one bit. I think she wants them to be romantic problems, brother. I think that's the thing you're missing. Hopefully the teacher would notice and call us to the staff room after school or something.
きっとケイチは素敵な大人になれますですよ。なでなで。
リカちゃんはお勉強家だから、すごい素敵な大人になれそうだな。
もちろんなのですよ。
Of course.
僕は大人になったらすごいのです。
At least she's got confidence.
あら、私も大人になったらすごいレディーになるんですのよ。
I already know you're about to say something rude.
サトコはいくつになってもお子様だと思うぞ。かけてもいい。
Yep.
なんですって
As Satoko snapped her fingers, a wash basin fell from above, hitting me squarely in the head. Deserved.
何しやがんだ、サトコ
Bang, smash, pinch, squeeze. It was a day I could thoroughly appreciate the value of having friends. I think they're all trying to cheer everyone up in their own way. Trying to keep them apart. I wouldn't be surprised if they'd been told about the situation or something. Satoko's like, I know. Well, knock him out. by dropping a wash basin on his head. That'll solve it. You go back to the school? Or is this like next day? Today was Saturday, so school ended in the blink of an eye. It really felt good to go home with the sun so high in the sky. On any other day, our club would have been up to mischief during our ample after-school time, but today Rika-chan had a rehearsal for tomorrow's Watanagashi to go to. Tomorrow?
リカちゃんはどんな調子？
Golly.
練習はバッチリ？
去年よりは頑張りますです。
去年は終わった後、ヘトヘトの汗だらけだったんだよね。
今年はもっともっと様になってますわよ。特訓の成果、ご期待あそばせですの。
The Watanagashi festival everyone had been talking about was tomorrow, wasn't it? The festival being in June felt a little early to me, but the onset of summer came quickly this year, so it fit the image of a summer festival pretty well.
じゃあ僕たちは失礼しますです。明日を楽しみになさいませ。それではごきげんようですわ。
Satoko and Rika-chan waved to us energetically, then left.
そういえば聞いてなかったんだけど、祭り会場ってどこなんだ？この辺って祭りのできそうな場所なんてあったっけ？
フルデ神社でやるんだよ。ほら、以前にみんなでお散歩した時に行ったでしょ。
I remember that from chapter 1. Did that also happen here?
あの見晴らしの良かったところ。
Oh, right. I remember. There was a shrine all the way up on that hill, wasn't there? It seemed far too grand for Hinamizawa.
神社には立派な集会所とかもあって、老人会のカラオケとか習字サークルの会合とかを時々やってるからね。
Gotta do something, you know?
単なる神社というよりは公共施設のような雰囲気だね。
なるほどね。それなら立派なのも納得かな。
みーちゃんちも今日の設営にはお手伝いに行くの？
うん、男手がいるからね。町から親類が大勢手伝いに来るよ。
Hopefully not Shion. Male hands, huh? Oh, I mean, I have nothing to do at home today, so...
俺みたいのが飛び入りで参加すると、かえって邪魔になるか？
え？ケイちゃん、手伝いに来てくれるの？
He's got nothing better to do.
迷惑なら行かねえよ。単なる興味だからさ。
We had bond dances and other festivals in the town I used to live in, and I didn't even know where they took place, much less wanted to help. You could say that I had absolutely no connection to the region. Having come to Hinamizawa, though, it really made me feel like this place was a home that I had returned to. Before I knew it, I harbored a little interest in the small community activity of preparing for a festival the day before.
ケイチくん頑張れるかな？テントを立てたり、パイプ椅子を並べたり。結構重労働って聞いてるよ。
別に俺一人でやるわけじゃないだろ。みんなでやればきっと早いぜ。
Min looked happy to hear that, but at the same time, her expression was complex, tinged with hesitation. Rena gave her the last push for me.
じゃあ決定だね。行ってきなよ、ケイチくん。みーちゃんはビシビシこき使ってあげてね。
Yeah, do it. You won't. Rena's like, she's kind of playing matchmaker here. I really didn't expect this, right? Maybe not matchmaker. She's trying to play a good friend and get us to, like, back to normal. But I think she knows what back to normal entails. Like, or not what it entails, but like what Mion wants from that, right? And I don't know. Surprising. It's not surprising that she'd want things to go back to normal and everybody to be friends, but I feel like, I mean, like, she has to know what Mion wants from this, right? Like, I don't know. Maybe I was wrong to kind of assume that Mion harbored some sort of romantic feeling, but it really feels like it to me, right? Like, it's never been explicitly said, right? It hasn't been, right? But it feels really, 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 really likely to me. And so I feel like Rena, I mean, come on, she has to know. I don't know. When it comes to stuff like that, I feel like Rena probably is wise enough to know what's going on. But Just
レナの
surprised.
推薦じゃ仕方ないな。じゃあさ、帰ったらラフな格好で神社に来なよ。
Might be that push we needed to finally get over this hump.
汗拭き用のタオルもあるといいかもね。
よし来た。俺こう見えても太陽の下で汗をかくの嫌いじゃないんだぜ。
せいぜい腰を痛めないようにね。
Setting up chairs in a tent, bro? In some tents? Bro.
じゃあおじさんはこの辺で。私も着替えたらすぐに神社に行くから。
みーちゃんも頑張ってね。バイバイ。
Mian waved vigorously to us and left. As far as I could tell from her gallant, retreating figure, she seemed to have recovered from the weak state she had yesterday.
女の子は切り替えが早いんだから。も
Let's
う
hope.
みーちゃんも大丈夫だよ。
That's good.
うん。あれだけ綺麗に切り替えてくれるとこっちも実に合わせやすい。
でも面白かったでしょ。シンデレラみたいっていうのかな。魔法が解けたらもう会えないってところが。
What? So just saying, like, how suddenly she switched, I guess? And I began to giggle a fair bit in amusement. Did she like this sort of thing? Incidentally, me going along with it gave me a weird, hard-to-describe feeling. Did I turn myself into a plaything? Or did they do it for me?
そんなに面白いならレナももう一人の自分を演じればいいじゃないか。
Okay. Yeah, that's what she means. Gotcha.
面白そうだね。
She doesn't need to pretend, homie. Okay, I think she's saying, like, kind of like Cinderella, like, you know, you can't meet the Bio pretending to be Shion anymore once it's all gone away. Like, that's not happening anymore. Yeah, it definitely, to me, I kind of wasn't sure there. I mean, I still could be wrong, but it seems to me like there were points where Mion was pretending to be Shion, right? But obviously not that last day, at the very least.
じゃあケイチ君はどんなレナに会いたいかな。
Certainly not a murderous one.
アイドル真っ青のルックスと俺の言うこと何でも確実に聞く器量よして頼む。
Yeah, you're about to get slumped.
そんなの無理。
Bro, no shot he just said that. No shot he just said that. Was that voice too?
プロポーショ
They
ン
kept
最上
that?
級アイドル真っ青のルックスと
They kept
俺
that
の言う
line?
こと何でも確実に聞く器量よして頼む。
Keiichi, ain't no way you just said that to her. You are down bad.
料理上手でお昼のお弁当を作ってくれて朝は迎えに来てくれて。
Have you learned nothing? So help me God if we go through this whole arc again, except with Rena, because he didn't learn. I'm gonna lose my mind on Keiichi.
それいつもやってる。
Oh wait, I think that's the point. I pull Rena's head into a tight grip, then start to pet it.
竜宮レナなんだろ。レイナじゃなくてレナ。だからレナはいつまでもレナのまんまでいろ。
ありがとう。
Looks like he learned at least.
竜宮レナなんだろ。レイナじゃなくてレナ。だからレナはいつまでもレナのまんまでいろ。
They just directly called out the way I was saying her name at first. That's unfortunate. Rena, not Reina.
お祭りのお手伝い頑張ってね。
おう、明日祭りで会おうな。
I got changed right away, and slinging a towel around my neck like Mian suggested, I set off for the shrine. Alright, we're back. I ran out of storage space on my computer, and so it stopped recording. Luckily, I didn't advance any further, but that could have been bad. But it wasn't, so let's keep going. At the shrine, there are more people than you'd imagine even live in Hidemizawa there. all cordoning off areas and setting up tent frameworks, chatting amongst themselves as they did so. Alright, where's Mion? The liveliness of the throng didn't make it easy to look for her. I searched around as if I already worked there, and suddenly the principal called out to me.
前原君であるか。関心である。綿流しの準備のお手伝いに来たのかね。
Yep.
ああ、どうも。何かお手伝いできないかなって思いまして。
殊勝な心がけである。存分に汗を流すがよいぞ。
This dude's a trip. Spurred on by the principal, I came upon a group of people setting up tents. That's a new background.
ありゃ、前原の兄ちゃんじゃねえの。ひょっとして手伝いに来たのかい？
Yep. I hadn't found Mion yet, but I suppose I'd just get in her way if I ran into her.
おっす、手伝いに来ました。よろしくお願いします。
若いのは元気があっていいね。
Yeah, no kidding.
ほら、軍手つけて。テントは組んだことあるかい？
いえ、初めてっす。
I have a feeling this is going to go terribly. Delighting in teaching a new skill to someone younger, plenty of people happily taught me all sorts of things.
じゃあ、兄ちゃんは天幕の内側に入って天骨の紐だけ結んで。
I really hope he doesn't suck at this.
結んだら足を立てて残りの紐も結ぶからな。
蝶々結びでいいんですよね。よいしょ、よいしょ。
結んだか。立てるぞ。いっせーの。
Was once nothing more than a collapsed tent was raised on 4 splendid legs before my eyes in mere moments. Whoa. Seeing it put together like this is actually pretty moving.
ほれほれ、感動してる場合じゃないぞ。まだまだたくさんあるんだからな。
Gotta say, you got another one to build, brother.
トラックにテントを積んであるから、ここまで持ってきな。重いから2人でやれよ。
大丈夫っすよ。俺こう見えても結構力あるんすから。
Bro, you should, I have a feeling you should have taken the help. They look light enough, so I thought they were, but they're heavy.
だから2人で運べって言ったろ。
That old man is like, you're a fool. I told you, you're a fool.
ほれほれ。
Said the man, lifting it up with a grunt and taking it away under his arm. Either I'm weak, or these old guys all have superhuman strength.
ほら、一番若いんだから汗しないとダメだぞ。頑張れ頑張れ。終わった後のビールがうまいぞ。
True.
俺未成年だし。
Also true. You really do hate to see it. Sweat dripped from my body. I'd been fully and completely absorbed in helping them. I would never have thought the cold barley tea from the Women's Society could taste this delicious.
若いからね。担当のみ。
ありがとうございます。
It was then that I realized a crowd had formed near the shrine a ways off. When I took a closer look, I saw a girl dressed in shrine-maiden garb and a handful of old men looking like they were preparing for the ceremony together. Oh, it's Rika.
リカちゃんか？おーい、リカちゃん。
Oh, don't call out to her!
頑張れよ。
I shouted, and it seemed like she heard me. Rika-chan, positively exploding with vitality, answered with a smile. Okay, I mean, that's good. It's just I remember when Rena had been talking to us about it, it sounded like you should leave Rika alone in these situations. The older guys with me watched Rika-chan as well, with distant gazes.
リカちゃまも頑張るな。去年に比べるとだいぶ板についてきたみたいだしな。
She's got a whole year of experience. That's why she seems more used to this. The old lady who gave me the tea clasped what looked like prayer beads in her hands and
リ
said,
カ様、ありがたや、ありがたや。
Golly, Sama. And just like that, began to respectfully pray to her. Huh? I just remembered that they called it the Furude Shrine. Wasn't Rika-chan's full name Rika Furude? The man standing next to me answered my
そう
question.
だよ。リカちゃまのフルデ一族は代々お社様をお祭りする由緒正しい一族なんだよ。
Huh. I'd always gotten the feeling she wasn't quite your average person, but it turned out she was from an esteemed family.
昨年神主様だったお父さんが亡くなられてからはああやって頑張って祭事を引き継いでおるんだよ。この立派になった姿、神主様に見せたかったの。
リカちゃんのお父さんっておな
よし休憩終わり。
Yep, he sure did. Rip. Thing though, he died under mysterious circumstances. A year from tomorrow. 2 years from tomorrow, I believe, actually. Yeah, 2 years. That is, like, the big concern there, you know? It's obviously when he died, and... Ugh. It's always concerning thinking about the fact that Rika could have been involved somehow.
次は使わないパイプ椅子を沖小の体育館に戻しちゃおっか。マーキさん、Kを回して何人か連れてってよ。
じゃあ前原君、最後にもう一働きしようか。
Yeah. You're gonna make me do more work? I can't tell if they know I'm a minor or not, but the older men all cheer me on, encourage me to do my best and that the beer will be great. Rip Bozo, no beer for you.
ケイちゃん頑張ってる。
Yep. I passed by Mion. She was carrying a big cardboard box. Looked like she was right in the middle of working as well. Judging by the sweat seeping into her shirt, it seemed I wasn't the only one with his hands full.
おお頑張ってるぜ。ミオンも頑張れよ。ビールがうまいぞ。
Huh? We were worked to the bone until the sun began to set and it started cooling off. I really thought that was going to get a reaction out of her, to be honest. Like a ha ha ha, wait, what? You're a minor. It was soon full-fledged night, and the clear sound of the Higurashi eased the moderate pain I felt. The older guys began their night before drinking party in a tent a fair bit off, causing quite a ruckus. The shrine grounds, on the other hand, had turned into a lonely road tickled by the cool evening breeze, despite being so festive just a little while ago. The wind felt good. I leaned on one of the stone guardian dogs at the front of the shrine. I gave my legs a good stretch as I let my mind wander, and suddenly, a paper cup filled with barley tea was thrust before me.
ケイちゃんお疲れ様。はい、麦茶です。
Hey!
お気が利くな。サンキューみ。
Her voice sounded exactly the same, but it felt somehow different.
あ、お前は。
Shion.
どうも、シオンです。
Vile.
気が利いているのはシオンの方。聞いてないのがミオンの方ですので、お間違いなきよ。
シオン、てめえ。ここで会ったが100年目。
ケイちゃんが勝手に勘違いしたんですよ。
Yeah, I mean...
私は初めからシオンとしか名乗ってませんし。
That is very true.
それを言われると弱い。
そうそう。お姉にすらかなわないケイちゃんが私にかなうわけないんですからね。
Dang, so now he's getting disrespected by 2 people.
それより麦茶。ぬるくなっちゃいますよ。
うん。
もう機嫌直してください。だからこれ仲直りの麦茶ってことで。
I think it's Mion you gotta make it up to, but you know. Well, she did come all the way here to give it to me. I guess I'll accept it. I took the cup and downed it in one gulp. And then suddenly, I heard a loud shout and it got stuck in my throat. Oh god.
今度はどっちだ。本物のミオンか。
シオン。あんたなんでまたケイちゃんと一緒にいるわけ？お姉と違って私は気配りとかできるタイプですから。
You are so mean.
汗だくになってたケイちゃんを放っておけなくて麦茶を持ってきたわけです。
And what were you doing here?
ところでお姉はなんで麦茶を2つも持ってるんですか？
Mion's face went bright red. She tried to hide the paper cups behind her back. Come on, Mion, Mion, don't back down from this.
いや、これは大雑把で自分さえ良ければいいお姉がクラスメートの男の子に海外しく麦茶を持ってくるわけないですよね。
Shion, you are a vile human.
結局何なんです？その2つの麦茶は。これはそのすっごく喉が渇いちゃって2杯は飲めるかなーなんて。
Come on, are you serious, Mion? Come on, you are taking L's to Shion right now. You can't just let this stand.
お姉らしい。それ一気
As Shion cheered at her, Mio downed both the cups of tea, one after the other.
さすがはおね、見事な飲みっぷりでした。ケイちゃんも拍手拍手。
Wait, suddenly the situation's gotten unbelievable. Mio doesn't usually get manipulated so easily like that. Known for a while now, but Shion is terrifying. Yeah, she is. She's a devil.
ミオンってシオンには頭上がらないのか？
私シオン嫌い。この前からもっと嫌いになった。
I wonder why. Just then, I heard the snap of a camera shutter. Oh, is it the boy?
こんばんは。
We have not seen Tomatake in a minute. Hey guys, his throat's intact. That's crazy.
いよいよ明日がお祭りだね。今日は準備お疲れさん。
こんばんは。
I still don't know who you are at all. I think she was a nurse, but there's no way she's just kind of chilling here, completely irrelevant, if you ask me.
あら、シオンちゃん。珍しいわね、こっちへ来るなんて。
ありゃ、富武のおじさまに高野さんじゃないですか。
Oh no. Takano.
こんばんは。ご無沙
Okay.
汰いたしております。
So who actually is Takano? Is the question for me.
いやあ、ケイチ君。
Oh, I guess, yeah, they haven't met yet here.
今日は張り切って仕事してたね。感心したよ。
I feel like I've seen this photographer guy before. Have we met before? Glad you remembered. We've passed many times on the road, Keiichi-kun. I'm Tomatake. I'm a freelancing photographer from Tokyo.
こんばんは。私はわかるかしら？
すみません、覚えがないです。
Dang.
高野美代さんだよ。
Okay.
ケイちゃんはまだ風邪とかで診療所のお世話にはなってない？美代さんは診療所で看護師さんをやってるんだよ。
I mean, I knew she was one of the nurses, but why she's always going around with Tomatake?
高野よ。
Oh, this is what I was looking for. I was wondering, I was just curious what she looked like in the old ones. She just looks evil, bro. Her eyes. She always, even in all of her sprites, something about her eyes is so unsettling to me.
よろしくね。治療に来るときは教えてね。太めの注射針を用意しておくから。
No, I'm good.
そりゃご丁寧にどうも。
Tomatake-san seemed to be quite entertained at the Sonozaki twins being in the same place, and he took picture after picture.
いやー、一卵性ソーセージとは聞いてたけど、並んでみると壮観だね。
Yeah, it sure is.
本当にそっくりなんだな。
Yeah, you're telling Keiichi, bro. You're not telling Keiichi anything.
そっくりなのは外見だけじゃないんですよ。ほら、下着もお揃い。
You are down horrendous.
ああ、バカバカ、あんた何すんの？
Things have never been as lively as when the two of them are together. I thought they were exactly the same at first, but I've started to get a handle on which one is which. Mion is Mion, and Shion, well, she seems a far better actor than Mion was. In the first place, somebody that could spurn Mion so easily wouldn't have shown such weakness to those lard buckets at Angel Mort. Yeah, no kidding, bro. I knew that. When we realized that this was all a setup, I kind of realized that was also fake and another thing just to rub in Mion's face. If that was the case, then that cowardly behavior from that day was all a complete act.
あの二人、昔はもっとそっくりでね。
That's great.
ご両親でもどっちがどっちかわからなくて手を焼いていたそうよ。
すごく想像に容易です。
Yeah, that's not hard.
ご両親のご苦労がよくわかります。
Takano gave me a kind of an odd look, but explaining would have been a pain, so I didn't bother.
富武のおじさまはまた綿流しの取材が終わったら東京にとんぼ帰りですか？
うん。本当はいつまでも滞在していたいんだけどね。しがない大人の都合ってやつさ。
お写真が早く素敵な賞を取るといいですね。お祈りしていますね。
Nah, you're probably preying on his downfall. Biggest hater since Spider-Man 3. Oh my god, what was that dude's name? That dude was such a hater, he literally prayed to God on Spider-Man's downfall.
ありがとう。今度来るときには今日撮った君たちの写真も持ってくるよ。
Don't say next time. Do not say those two words. Don't. I don't think they're gonna kill him off again. But just don't say it.
今日は前原くんもお疲れ様。慣れない力仕事で疲れたでしょ？
まあ、疲れたけど、結構楽しかったです。
若さね。羨ましいわ。
There. Takano-san smiled with an adult elegance I know one of my circle of friends possessed. Is that Takano or Takano? I need to see how they actually say it.
高野よ。よろしくね。治療に高野よ。高野よ。よろしくね。治療に来るときは教えてね。太めの注射針を用意しておくから。
The wind caught her hair. She gives off an intelligent beauty.
おやおや皆さんこんにちは。
What is Oishi doing here? Seemed like our merry crowd was standing out. This time, an overweight older man addressed us. And again, it was someone I thought I knew. If I recall correctly, he's a policeman, isn't he?
あら、大石さん。こんばんは。
I guess getting ready to do police work at the Watanagashi, maybe?
明日の警備の下見ですか？
Yeah, seems likely.
はははは。そんなところです。おや、富武くんじゃないですか。ご無沙汰しておりますね。
They recognize each other. I mean, okay, I guess if he works in the area and has done like some of the Watanagashis have been here before, it's not that crazy, but
僕の名前を覚えていてくださったとは。
あなたもつくづくひなみ沢が好きですな。ここいらへんは東京よりもずっとアパートは安いですよ。いっそ引っ越してくればいいのに。
I mean, something's probably tying him down to Tokyo.
仲のいい不動産屋を紹介しますよ。
それは嬉しいですね。その説はぜひお世話になりたいです。
Oh, okay. That'd be kind of sweet. Can you imagine?
ではでは皆さん、良いお年を。園崎の双子さんも良いお年を。
Happy New Year? Is their birthday?
良いお年を、大石刑事。お仕事よろしくお願いしますね。今年は皆さんの手を煩わせない綿流しにしたいです。
こりゃ手厳しい。
Look at her face and the way it suddenly changed when Oishi rolled up. Detective Oishi left us with a low laugh and headed off to talk to some police officers standing a ways away. Same with Mion. I gave Mion a glance and saw her making an annoyed face, as if she were glaring bullets at someone she hated. I wonder if Oishi had some kind of role in the damn reconstruction project and that's why they hate him.
そうね。今年は警察のお世話にならない綿流しになるといいわね。
Yeah, that'd be nice. Everyone around knows it's not gonna happen.
君も好きだね。
あら、二郎さんは嫌い？私、そういう夢のある話好きよ。
Huh?
潤いのない時代だからこそ、そういうのに憧れるの。
You just enjoy the murders?
お社様のたたりか。
Curse. Toмотake-san used a troubling word. Then suddenly, someone tugged at my arm.
ケイちゃん、私お腹空いちゃったからさ。
Dragging us away from the conversation. Ugh.
酒盛りのテントに行ってお菓子でも食べてこない？
そうだな。俺もちょっとお腹が減ったかな。
行こう行こう。
A moment later, Shion said something to Takano and Tomatake that stung my ears and gave me a start.
今年は誰が死んで誰が消えるんでしょうね。
Jesus, she just outright said it. Okay. I pulled back from Mion's grip and stopped abruptly.
シオン、今、なんて言ったんだ？
Yeah, that was not something you needed to know. You hate to see it. Felt like the air around us dried out all of a sudden.
行こうよ、ケイちゃん。つまんない話だよ。
Yeah, you might just want to listen to her. I'm worried that he won't, though.
お姉はまだケイちゃんに話してないの？
私、そういう話は吹き込まない主義なの。
Shion's cold and quiet tone and Mion's harsh voice were quite the contrast.
おいおいおいおい、何の話だよ。知ってるなら教えてくれよ。
Yeah, that's... You really are gonna want to stay out of this, Keiichi. I promise you, bro.
俺だけのけ者なんて、なんだか気分悪いぞ。
I don't understand this. Someone explain it to me. However, Mion didn't seem to be at all willing to grant my request. She squeezed my hand in hers a bit, but when she realized I would hold my ground on this topic, she let go.
じゃあさ、私先に酒盛りのテントに行ってるよ。
Yeah, at least she's letting us go off, but she really shouldn't. She should stand firm on this. It'd probably keep Keiichi safer, out of some trouble that he doesn't want to be involved in.
早く来ないとケイちゃんの分なくなっちゃうからね。
ああ、分かってるって。すぐ行くから。
Mion left, trotting towards a particularly noisy tent on the other side of the shrine grounds. Before she got there, she stopped and turned back around. I showed no signs of going after her, though, but she ran off.
もしも聞いてないんだったら話してもいいけど、ひょっとすると聞かないで彼女と一緒にお菓子を食べに行った方が賢明かもしれないよ。
Bro, please listen to him. Hey now, you've already got my full attention here. I'm not gonna leave without asking at this point. I mean, I don't blame him, but he's gonna regret it.
ケイちゃんにも聞く権利があると思います。
He does.
お姉はその権利を奪ってただけです。
Shion's voice was bristling with thorns, as if somehow blaming me on.
一体何の話だって言うんですか？あんまりもったいぶられると不愉快ですよ。
Takano-san, realizing how prepared I was, looked across the group. After confirming that there were no objections, she opened her mouth.
前原君はタタリを信じるかしら？
タタリですか？面白いとは思いますけど、あんまり信じては。
I felt their cynical stares and winced. It's like they were telling me it was strange or not to believe in curses.
ケイちゃんは間違ってないですよ。タタリなんて迷信もいいとこ。信じなくて当たり前です。
そうね。それにタタリを信じるかどうかは話を最後まで聞いてからゆっくり考えればいいことなんだから。
Said Takano-san, giving a little smile. They're trying to scare me. At least that's what it feels like. I think they are. They're trying to get you to leave, dog.
じゃあ少し僕が話そうか。ケイイチ君はひなみ沢ダム計画を知ってるかい？
Vaguely, yeah. Oh yeah, the other day at Angel Mort, Shion, or Mion, rather, told me all about it. Okay, so that one was Mion. Got it. Okay, so that's what I was thinking, but now it's been confirmed.
確かひなみ沢が丸ごと水没する巨大なダムの計画が発表されたって言うんですよね。
その通り。それに反対するために住民運動が結成され、国と激しい戦いを繰り広げたんだ。
I've heard that too. The entire village united, using all the power at their disposal, mass media, political influence, and other things, and fought the country. The way Mion described it made it sound like a boast.
あれ？ずいぶん詳しいじゃないか。その通りさ。わずか1000人ちょいの村人たちが中心になって結束して、国の施策を跳ね返したというちょっとした武勇伝なんだ。
その辺はお姉に聞かされてませんか？
Yep.
この辺りの武勇伝はお姉も好きですからね。
Yeah, I believe it.
ああ、話してたよ。
そのひなみ沢の人たちが結束して旗揚げした反対同盟の事務所があったのがね。 この神社なんだよ。
Interesting. I did not know that.
あの集会所がその名残よ。
Interesting.
解散後は老人会のサークル活動にしか使われてないけど、当時はまさに最後の砦だったの。
Okay, I'm getting some new information on this. That's good. Takano-san explained this, pointing a finger towards the assembly hall. I'd be carrying things in and out of there all day. I mean, I would understand if they put an office like that in the mayor's house or something. But having an office on shrine grounds made it kind of feel like a base camp for Sengoku period warriors.
そんな心境だったんだろうね。彼らはひなみ沢の守り神様であるお社様を祀る神社に本陣を置くことで必勝を祈願したんだよ。
Oyashiro-Sama. That was definitely it. They mentioned Oyashiro-Sama's curse before. Is it the same Oyashiro-Sama?
圭一君はお社様は知ってるかい？
vaguely.
この神社の祀る神様の名前だよ。ひなみ沢を守ってると伝えられてる。
いや、よくは知らないです。
そうか。じゃあここから先は高野さんの方が詳しいかな。タッチ。
Tag, you're it.
平たく言えばそのままよ。お社様はこのひなみ沢に伝わる古い神様で、神聖なこの地が属世に汚されることがないよう守り続けてきたと伝えられてるわ。
So essentially, he's a basic standard guardian deity. I guess you can find that sort of god anywhere you go.
お社様崇拝は一種の先民思想の表れではないかと研究されているわね。先民思想って言葉わかるかしら？
Yeah, I mean, I could believe it. I could believe it. Believing yourself chosen, a nationalistic belief that you are part of a superior race, that you're a special clan chosen by the gods. I mean, it would explain their shank sprees. They believe that they're a superior clan, so they believe strongly in cooperating with others, but they also end up being exclusionary towards other clans. I won't go into too much detail, but it's the sort of national and religious ideas that lead to war. Of course, that goes for Japan too.
大昔のひなみ沢の人たちは、自分たちは人間とは異なる格の違う存在だと強く信じていてね。下界との交流を格が落ちるとして意味嫌ったそうなの。だから村に下界の人間が来ると不純が混じって、お社様の罰が当たると強く信じ、何者も近寄らせなかったそうよ。
Really? They just murdered them.
よそ者を嫌う村ってよく推理小説に出てくるだろ？
Yeah, they do. That's crazy. I could never imagine that happening in a mystery novel that I'm reading.
典型的なそういう村だったらしいんだよ。
一応名誉のために断りますけど、大昔のことですからね。今は違います。
At least on the surface, maybe. Shion followed up quickly, having sensed the thorns in Tomitake-san's words. Yeah. The question is whether it's really changed all that much. I mean, definitely a lot. I mean, it's a lot better. At least you don't get immediately murdered anymore. It's just once a year you have a chance to get murdered. Tomitake-san, embarrassed at what he said, scratched at his head. So the shrine worships Ayashiro-Sama, thinks of Hinamizawa as holy ground, and as a symbol of their traditional hatred of the outside world.
なるほど。だから下界からやってきた汚れたダム計画に立ち向かうために、ひなみ沢の守り神様の神社に本陣を置いたと。
Makes sense. Correct. Smiled Takano, please, or Takano, pleased. She must dislike stupid people.
円担ぎも万端。
Jeez. That's blunt, but you know.
村人たちは視力を尽くしてダム計画に立ち向かうんだ。その最中なんだよ。事実上、あの事件でとどめが入ったと言ってもいい。
The incident they won't talk about. They'll talk about, oh, we banded together and, you know, media and, you know, all this stuff. And they won't talk about that incident. Oyashiro-Sama's curse.
ひなみ沢ダムの建設現場の監督がですね、4年前かな。結構派手に新聞に載ったんですけど、覚えてません？
ちょっと知らないな。
部下と喧嘩してつるはしでめった打ちにされて、両手両足首をもいで捨てられたんだそうです。
Why that line sound so weird? Like the audio
バ
quality.
ラバラ殺人だよ。
部下と喧嘩してつるはしでめった打ち、ひなみ沢ダムの建設現場の監督がですね、殺されちゃったんです。4年前かな。結構派手に新聞に載ったんですけど、覚えてません？
That's strange. Obviously, I know the game's not going to be perfect, but there are a few times where the audio quality is just weirdly bad. Whatever. It is what it is. It's like once every couple episodes. Such a gruesome incident. But it was just that, an incident. A person caused the incident after all. Should they really put it down to the curse?
その翌年にはね、ひなみ沢の住人でありながらダム推進派のグループを結成していた男がね、旅行先で崖から落ちて死んじゃったの。これは事故だそうよ。
Apparently. That's crazy. Crazy how that
何しろ
happens.
ひなみ沢中から敵視されていたからね。警察もかなり念入りに他殺の線を洗ったんだけど、結局事故と断定したみたいだよ。
Just a very coincidental one. Now it's an accident. This is the most curse-like one, but it's still far-fetched.
さらに翌年、今度はね、この神社の神主さんが原因不明の病で倒れて急死しちゃったの。
前の神主さんは、こう言っちゃ失礼ですけど、ちょっと日和見な人だったんですよね。村中が反ダムで盛り上がってるのに、神主さんは放っておけみたいな感じで。
So another one on the side of not actively rebelling against that died. Crazy.
抵抗運動の象徴である神社の神主さんがそんな感じなんだからね。リーダーシップを期待していた当時の村人たちは失望し、中には怒りを抱く人たちもいたそうよ。だから当時年寄り連中はみんな言ったんです。これはお社様のたたりだってね。
It seemed like every year, dam-related people the village had resentment towards were dying. It was pretty creepy.
しかもね、面白いことにこれらの事件や事故は毎年必ず綿流しのお祭りの晩に起こるんだよ。
I think that's the real kicker, the fact that it happens on the same day every year.
ね、ちょっとたたりっぽくなってきたでしょ。
さらに翌年、つまり去年だね。今度は事故死したダム推進派のリーダー格の男の弟夫婦の奥さんが撲殺死体で発見されちゃったんだ。もちろん犯人は捕まったけどね。
ね、やっぱりたたりっぽいでしょ。
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of hard to justify somebody literally being beaten to death by a known criminal as a curse, but sounds like somebody who wants to keep the reputation going, but whatever. 4 years in a row. Each one of the incidents and accidents were relatively commonplace, but every single one of them happening on the night of the festival worshipping Oyashiro-Sama? That's not normal.
年寄り連中はこの数年の事件ですっかりお社様のたたりを盲信しちゃって。
So like, yeah, it's cool. A few people get, somebody gets murdered every year, somebody disappears.
若い人たちだって最初はバカにしてましたけど、今は誰も茶化しませんね。
Yeah, I can see where she's coming from. Even me. Even if I didn't think there was a curse at all, thinking about all the incidents like this makes me feel like maybe it's real?
例えば今日のお祭り準備にしてもそうさ。ダムとの戦いで荒れていたとはいえ、何年か前までは綿流しはそんなに盛況していたわけじゃないんだよ。
まあそうですね。お社様のたたりの話がなかったらこんなにお祭りには集まりませんね。
When you say it like that, Tomatake, everything might have gone crazy during the battle against the dam, but just a few years ago, the Watanagashi festival was never this well attended. It kind of makes you wonder if this is all some scheme to, like, kind of bring back the old order, right, of Hinamizawa, right? Like, the religious zealots are trying to force everybody back to believing Oyashiro-Sama by making this elaborate, like, curse kind of thing. Get more believers, and then the people who have been super related to the who have been super related to to Oyashiro-sama the whole time, kind of get to go back to being like in charge basically, and I don't know, having more power over things and getting to just eliminate people they don't like once a year, you know? Especially if they're not, like, you know, bowing down to Oyashiro-sama. That's what they want. Maybe that's what they want. Maybe they're trying to instill fear in people with, like, ritualistic killings to convert them back to being super religious and this back into this super close, tight-knit town where outsiders aren't welcome.
不信心者には罰が当たるかもしれない。だからお社様のお祭りには必ず出ようって言ってる人たち多いです。
Shio nodded as if she were mocking herself.
どうかな。圭一君もひょっとしてたたりは本当にあるのではという気になってきたんじゃないかな。
I'm really not convinced. I mean, you can't just laugh off people related to the damn construction project all dying like that. If even I feel like this now, then the more superstitious members of the village must feel stronger than that.
まあそれでもたたりなんかないと思ってます。ですけど信じる人たちの気持ちもわかるつもりです。
さすがケイちゃんは冷静に判断できてますね。
Yeah, even in the face of 4 murders. Shion grinned, realizing I'd rejected the curse.
たたりでもなく偶然のはずもないなら、さてこれらの事件はどういうことになるのかしらね。
That's kind of driving home the point, isn't it? Gotta be deliberate if it's not a curse or a coincidence. Takano said, smiling playfully, as if posing a riddle. Neither a curse nor a coincidence, but every year someone dies. What should we make of that, then? Tomatake-san, catching on to the fact that I had no idea what to make of it, opened his mouth and came to my aid.
高野さんはね、人間の仕業かもしれないって言ってるんだよ。
Okay, so we're on the real people side of the theory now. Eh? Simple process of elimination would have gotten me there. I was a little taken aback at not having realized the answer immediately.
だってそうでしょ。たたりでもなく偶然でもないなら、人の意志が働いてるとしか考えられないもの。
You've got 3 choices there. Takano-san pressed on. I smiled bitterly in spite of myself. Here I was just a few minutes ago, thinking the very concept of a curse was absolutely absurd. When she suggested it was someone's doing, I ended up thinking, there wasn't any way it could be a person. But Takano-san was right. It was either a curse or it was a person's doing. If unrealistic things like curses don't exist, then the obvious next step would be to start thinking it was people behind it. But if that was the case, I glanced at Shion.
人間が犯人なら確かにひなみ沢の誰かが犯人なんでしょうね。
Yeah.
現に警察の大石さんはそう見てますから。
おいおい、そんなわけあるのかよ。
I thought I now know the reason Mion didn't want to talk about this. But Yashiro-sama's curse really existed, then that's fine. We divine judgment for the damn project business. However, if Oyashiro-sama's curse didn't exist, which it obviously didn't, then the culprit would most likely be someone from Hinamizawa. Wow, that's a really strong stance to take. I don't disagree with that stance, of course, but, like, the fact that he's saying it obviously didn't, right, exist, it's like, him being confident that it didn't exist makes me confident that it somehow does exist. Not really. I still believe the people explanation, but the fact that he's so confident makes me feel like it's going to be obviously more nuanced than that. Right? Maybe the idea that it was just somebody trying to drive the religious order like back to like prominence and bring back the old ways. Maybe that idea is too simple. I don't know. It's still the one I'm sticking with, but yeah, the culprit most likely is going to be someone from Hinamizawa or a group of somebody's. The villagers had worked desperately to oppose the dam construction project. I knew they had used all sorts of methods to fight against it. One of those methods was maybe...
Oyashiro-Sama のたたりはダム計画抵抗運動の暗部じゃないかってささやかれてるんです。
Shion dryly put words to my exact thoughts. Of course, I didn't expect it. She was from Hinamizawa, so I don't think she'd come out and say it herself. I mean, she's not really from Hinamizawa, but...
ちょっと落ち着いて考えれば、誰が見たってHinamizawaの誰かの仕業だってわかることです。
Yeah.
ダム工事に反対して得をする人以外、動機がないじゃないですか。
Exactly.
それはそうだけど。
Admitting to the existence of a darker side of the dam conflict would be rude to Mion, who spoke of it so highly. So I couldn't just accept Shion's seemingly logical viewpoint.
それにね、警察の人は知らないだろうけど、
Don't know what.
Hinamizawaの人間にはわかる、Hinamizawaの人間の犯行だという証拠があるんです。
That's great.
え？
Shion rebukes me to keep my voice down.
ごめん。でもその証拠って一体？
必ず一人が死んで、もう一人が消えるからです。
One more disappears. Are they insinuating that's the killer? One more person disappears. Did that mean that someone besides the one who died from the curse was a sacrifice?
消えるって意味がよくわからないな。
And disappear, never seen again.
それは失踪するって意味か？
そうです。忽然と跡形もなく。
As she spoke, Shion pretended to do a trick with her hands like she were making a magician's hat disappear. One dies a mysterious death, and one disappears, never to be seen again. A strange vanishing act. Now that I think about it, I don't know if I ever proposed this idea. The idea that the one demoned away is the killer each time. Isn't it somebody related to them each time? I know in the case of the priest, it was his wife. In the case of ooh, that's an interesting parallel. Ooh, that's an interesting parallel. In the case of the last one, right? Satoko's a cousin was demoned away after her uncle was killed, right? Also, I want to point out the parallels that we do have that baseball bat, and we did commit a killing with it. Is there any reason to suspect that could be what killed them? The fourth victim? Also, for the fifth one, you have, ooh. Yeah. You have, Tomitake and, Takano. And the big thing there is the fact that Takano was kind of like the prime suspect, but I hadn't really drawn the conclusion that because she was the prime suspect, that means the other ones being demoned away could have been as well, right? Because when you think about it, we found the syringe. I have been thinking so hard as to what that syringe was, and not once did I really not once think that could be proof that it was Takano. That is her name, right? Takano, or is it Tanako? Takano. I mean, we had that syringe. There was some substance that made them lie, like something that couldn't be traced. As far as we can tell, that made them rip their throats out. Right? And I do want to point out, first of all, that's what happened to Keiichi, right? And there's a chance he just got injected with that syringe, right? Takano disappeared after that. I don't remember who was demoned away in the first and second cases. Wasn't the wife the one who got demoned away? Come on. If that's what it was, come on. Yeah, it seems highly likely, to be honest, that they're just the killer. Wow. I can't believe I hadn't considered this. I really think that's what they're insinuating here. But then why? How does that equate to someone from Hinamizawa being the culprit?
実はね、ひなみ沢の古い伝統の一つにね、お社様の怒りを鎮めるために生贄を捧げたというのがあるの。
I guess that makes sense too, though.
生贄？
ええ、すまきにされて底なし沼に生きたままじわじわと時間をかけて沈めたんです。
Man, that's a terrible way to go. Takano-san, though explaining something pretty terrible, has a look of glee on her face as she did so.
文献を調べた限りでは3日3晩をかけて本当にゆっくりとじわじわと沈めたそうよ。
That's horrifying.
ほら、昔の人って結構ダジャレが好きでしょ。沈めるをかけてたんだと思うの。だから時間をかけて沈めるという意味があったんでしょうね。
Takano-san was the only one laughing at this. Was she telling a joke or something? Shion didn't move to deny it, but I felt a difference in temperature between her cool expression and Takano-san's.
この辺の話はまあ聞いて想像がつくと思いますけど、ひなみ沢の秘士です。ひなみ沢に昔からいる人なら誰でも知ってますが、それを口に出すことはありませんね。
So the question is, how much do I actually believe that? Like, why would these sacrifices happen, right? Especially if somebody's been demoned away each year, why would they do that before they had any reason to suspect it could have been Oyashiro-Sama's curse? I don't know. I kind of think the idea that a person being demoned away is the killer is more likely than that.
高野さんはひなみ沢出身じゃないけどね。詳しいだろ？
But at the same time, I guess it kind of makes sense that somebody close to the target would, or the murdered, the victim, would sacrifice themselves afterwards to, like, ensure nothing like that happened to anyone else. But, like, I don't know. I don't fully buy it.
彼女は郷土史とか民間伝承とかが好きでね。
Yeah, you can tell.
全部独学で調べたんだよ。
Not from here. I mean, she lives here now, right? Isn't she a nurse here?
そんなにかっこいいものじゃないのよ。単なる知的好奇心。子供と同じよ。ただの怖いもの見たさ程度なんだから。
Tomotage-san laughed, a little bit embarrassed.
ちょっと待ってください。ってことは何ですか？事件のたびに消えるという一人は生贄に捧げられているって言うんですか？
Yeah. Shion answers in one word before anyone else can speak. Someone dies, and someone disappears.
本当に生贄にされてるかどうかは別にして、過去の事件では必ず一人が死ぬ他に一人が消えてるんだよ。
I feel like the speed at which they disappear really makes me not buy that. Like, Takano, she was gone really fast, wasn't she? Like, Toмотake wasn't dead, but like a few hours. And I mean, I guess it's not impossible that she had been sacrificed by then, but like, really? We sure about that? I don't know. That seems like really fast. I mean, I guess if a group was following, Toмотake and got him to kill himself, but I don't know. I kind of still think it's more likely that they're the killer, frankly.
例えば一番最初のダム現場の監督が殺された事件も複数犯のうちの最後の一人が未だ逮捕されてないらしいんだ。
それは単にうまく逃げおおせてるだけなんじゃないんですか？
But his car was found at the swamp, right?
別に生贄にされたというのとは違うのでは。
まあ僕もそうだとは思うんだけどね。で次の年のダム推進派のリーダー格の男なんだけど、
確か旅行先で崖から落ちて亡くなったんですよね。
落ちたのは奥さんも一緒らしいの。警察は懸命に捜索したんだけど、どうしても奥さんの遺体だけ崖下の川は増水してたそうだからね。どこか川下の湖の湖底で土砂にでも埋まってしまったのかもしれないけどね。
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that's very possible, but the perpetrator of a dismember like that wouldn't want to be caught, so they'd be desperate to run away and hide, too. Thought I'd heard about cases where the corpse wouldn't surface after the person drowned in a swelled river like that. She vanished because of an unfortunate accident, but I still didn't see the connection to sacrifices. Okay, so... If you took each of the past incidents in turn, none of the disappearances evoked that terrifying of an image.
その翌年の神主の病死の時ははっきりしてます。奥さんが遺書を残したんです。
She probably actually did sacrifice herself, but...
死んでお社様のお怒りを鎮めに参りますってな感じのが神主さんが亡くなった晩に自宅に残されてたそうですから。
That's probably exactly what started that theory. The curse. Seems to turn up in this one, though. Isn't that also the very first year that it was branded a curse, is what they said? I mean, that one genuinely might just be people trying to convince them that it's a curse, right? And that Oyashiro-Sama has to be quelled. Because, I mean, it's not even far from impossible that she killed herself like that. It's not even unbelievable, right? But we also know that the group that is doing these things, like the, goodness, what was the word they used to describe the man that was going to come over and deal with Keiichi? I don't remember. Like the project manager, right? We know they edited the narrative. They cut out a piece of that paper, right? Is it beyond them to fake a suicide note? I don't think so. I really don't think so. But just keep going, I guess.
まあ真相は闇の中なんだけどね。その奥さんが受水自殺した沼はさっき高野さんも話した例のでっかい底なし沼ってことになってて、ね、
So no one's ever gonna find her.
警察も沼を調べたそうだけど遺品がいくつか見つかっただけで遺体は発見できなかった。警察は偽装自殺を疑って今でも探してるらしいよ。
Someone dies every year, and in the same way, someone goes missing every year. She trying to tell me that everyone who vanished was kidnapped by some extremely efficient means and dumped into the bottomless swamp, still alive and drowned to death? That's not impossible. Maybe as a way to make it look like a sacrifice, or I don't know. Pin the blame on them. Maybe. But a curse, that's unbelievable in its own right.
その翌年にはなんだっけ、ダム推進派の男の弟夫婦の奥さんだっけが殺されたんだよな。
So, at that time, someone else vanished?
消えました。北条聡君っていう私と同い年の男の子です。
Yeah, that last name's probably gonna provoke a reaction from him, huh?
殺された主婦の義理の甥にあたります。
Nephew by marriage. Shion cut in with a slightly strong tone of voice. She knew the boy who had disappeared pretty well. At least, that's the vibe I was getting.
まあざっとこんな感じね。必ず一人が死んで必ず一人が忽然と消える。
Leaving the suddenness aside, the fact was that each incident involved one person disappearing.
じゃあつまり一人目が死ぬのはお社様のたたりで、二人目が失踪するのは村人が生贄に捧げてるからだって言うんですか？
On the surface, that's the story, but is it the truth?
ケイちゃん、たたりなんかないです。誰かがお社様のたたりという名で一人目を殺し、誰かがその生贄として二人目をさらってるんです。
Yeah, I mean, frankly, I can definitely believe it. I could believe it. I'm still kind of convinced that the person disappearing could be the killer each time. I feel like there are definitely close connections there each time. But that could also be why they're chosen to be the sacrifice. The biggest thing that's tripping me up is that needle, man. And the way that we found that needle, which could be easily tied to... Oh my god, how did I forget her name again? Takano. The needle that could be easily tied to Takano. And we had Keiichi experience the exact same thing as Toмотake before he died. And he ended up clawing his throat out. Right? It's not that crazy to think that he was injected with something that was probably injected into Toмотake. And who could have been responsible for that? I can tell you one person who easily could have been responsible. And if she got immediately demoned away, you know, like, it's not that crazy to think that, like, she's the killer and that could be the same for everybody else, rather than them being a forced sacrifice. Maybe they're disappearing, right, and meeting up with some secret group, right? Maybe they are just being, like, drowned in that swamp. Maybe they are being sacrificed, right? Maybe some of them are sacrificing themselves after, I don't know, maybe something wears off. But this is very possible, but I still don't know if that I completely buy it.
でもシオン、それじゃあ村の中に犯人がいるってことになるんだぞ。
Yep.
私は初めからそう睨んでます。
Seems like Shion's gonna be like a surprisingly logical figure here.
結構ショックですよ。この昭和の時代にそんな古い因習で人殺しが堂々と行われるなんて。
Yeah. Pretty hard to believe. Didn't have anything to do with our discussion. But I got the feeling that maybe Shion didn't like Hinamizawa very much. Can you blame her? There's ritual killings going on here every year. Shion enjoyed talking about Hinamizawa and its epic tales, so she had avoided talking about Oyashiro-Sama's curse, which didn't paint Hinamizawa in a good light no matter how you looked at it. She was trying not to give me a bad impression of the village, so she didn't say anything. Shion, on the other hand, was somehow different. She wasn't rejecting the concept of a curse to purge Hinamizawa of this bad impression, rather because she strongly believed that a member of the village was the criminal behind this. Her conviction seemed a bit removed from the tight sense of community held by the people of Hinamizawa. Once upon a time, they looked so alike you could mistake one for the other. But talking to her now, I was getting a powerful feeling that Shion had a completely different personality than Mion. Yeah.
じゃあ皆さんはひなみ沢の誰かが犯人だと思ってるんですね。
Now, this is probably like the one group that's at least willing to admit that they don't believe that. Neither Shion nor Takano-san answered that. The deafening silence told me all that needed to be said.
じゃあ重ねて質問します。ひなみ沢の誰かが犯人なら犯人は誰なんですか？
Well, if we knew that, they wouldn't be the culprit anymore. Neither Shion nor Takano-san had a reply to that question either. Though it may have been rude to ask, I had hoped they wouldn't have one. The reason I asked was to argue that their explanation that the culprit was from Hinamizawa was nothing more than one possibility. Shion caught on to my plan. She gave a pained smile on my petty spite and opened her mouth to speak.
私が言ったのは所詮状況証拠ですからね。
I mean, yeah, but...
具体的に犯人の名前を知ってたなら警察に突き出してます。
Yeah, I'd hope. As would anybody. And what about Takano-san? She too smiled dryly as Shion had and opened her own mouth.
はじめに誤解を解いておきたいんだけど、別に私は探偵さんのつもりはないのよ。
Do you have something for us?
本音を言うとね、犯人が誰かなんてことには興味ないの。
I mean, fair enough, I guess.
高野さんも困った人だな。
Yeah, you're really something. You're just cool with them being on the loose, getting 2 people killed every year, I guess. Tomatake-san gives a bitter laugh at her surprising opinion on the matter.
私はね、古式ゆかしい残酷な風習やおとぎ話に興味があるだけ。
You are a messed up person.
知的好奇心で面白がってるだけなの。
I mean, I get it, but the fact that you're willing to just, let this keep happening.
だから一連の事件も犯人は誰かってことよりも事件の存在自体が古い因習がまだ根深く残ってることの証拠だって思って面白がってるくらい。
I get what you're saying, but these are actual people dying. To see those old traditions displayed by these incidents, Though she described herself as nothing more than a curious onlooker, her smile was as sharp as the tip of a blade. Women like her felt very strange and a little scary to me. Maybe it's just that I was in fearful awe of the person whose emotions I couldn't comprehend.
私は全然面白くないですけどね。明日はいよいよ綿流しのお祭りですけど、誰にも死んでほしくないし、誰も消えてほしくないです。
Odds that Shion dies?
明日か。
That's right. It had completely slipped my mind. A string of murder incidents people attributed to Oyashiro-Sama's curse. It wasn't over. If last year's incident wasn't the end, then tomorrow night at the festival, did someone die and someone disappear?
明日は一体誰が死んで誰が消えるのかしらね。
Takano-san said, running a comb through her hair with elegant movements, with a thin smile and a voice that nearly made me shudder. She almost looked like she was enjoying the thought of the incidents that could happen tomorrow. No, she is. Then, out of the blue, we heard a loud round of applause. They seemed to be ending the drinking party early. Right, I was making Mio wait this whole time, wasn't I? I should go back to her soon.
高野さんもからかいすぎだよ。圭一君がすっかり真に受けてしまったじゃないか。
ごめんなさいね。また悪い癖が出ちゃったみたい。
Yeah, it's a pretty bad habit, but said Takano-san, sticking out her tongue bashfully. The strangeness in her expression was nowhere to be found.
高野さんはね、純粋そうな子を見るとからかいたくなる悪い癖があるんだよ。圭一君が真剣に聞いてくれるもんだから、ついつい調子に乗っちゃったみたいなんだ。
Unlike Takano-san, Toмотake-san seemed like a totally normal person with common sense. That is such a shock. But, I mean, as far as we could tell, Toмотake-san does seem like a pretty normal person. He was a little weird at the beginning of Chapter 1, but, not weird compared to most of the people in this village, so... They're apologizing after realizing what kind of impression they'd given me.
高野さんが今した話は、あくまでもフィクションだからね。もしもさっきの話で、圭一君がひなみ沢に持ってたいい印象が傷つけられてしまったなら、純粋に申し訳なく思うよ。
It's not fiction. They're just saying that out of a sense of oh crap, maybe we shouldn't have told him all that.
もう、二郎さんたら。
高野さんも謝った方がいい。怖がらせてしまってごめんなさいってね。
Takano-san and Toмотake-san were arguing and messing around now. The strained air around us had already dissipated.
ケイちゃんもそろそろ戻った方がいいです。お姉は嫉妬深いですからね。私は顔を合わせると喧嘩になりそうだからこのまま帰ることにします。
Yeah, let's... We kind of, excuse me. We kind of capped on her. We did not end up going and, going to that, refreshments tent. And she definitely does seem like she could be the jealous type, but now I'm kind of concerned. Now that Shion is real, I'm kind of concerned that's how we're going to get to see the crazy person.
そうなのか？じゃあ俺はミオンのとこに戻って待たせたことを謝るかな。
迷惑をかけたね、ケイチ君。ミオンちゃんにケイチ君を長く借りすぎて申し訳ないと伝えてくれないかな。
あ、はい。伝えても機嫌は直さないと思いますけど、一応。
I have a feeling she's going to be very not happy about everything he was just told. Tomotage-san and Takano-san, standing next to each other, both began to chuckle.
じゃあね、ケイちゃん。明日のお祭り、どこかですれ違えるといいですね。
Yeah, let's do that before you get murdered.
会えるよ。どうせ俺たちのことだ。
Yeah, now you're not gonna meet. Now she's just gonna
賑や
die.
かにやってるに決まってる。
Shion and I said our goodbyes to Tomotage-san and Takano-san. Before we could leave, Takano-san called out to us.
私の話を真剣に聞いてくれて前原くんがあまりに聞き上手だったんで話しててとても楽しかったわ。
Yeah, no problem.
聞き上手なんてそんな。
I was just in a state of perpetual bewilderment from all the shocking topics being thrown at me one after another.
今日した話。
まあ興味深かったです。
ならまた今度も聞いてくれる？
And we might get more information that way.
ひなみ沢の昔話とかおとぎ話にも興味深いものがたくさんあるの。
More legends and fairy tales might make what's going on more clear.
もちろん薄気味悪いのがたくさんね。私特選のをたくさん披露するわよ。
I was kind of happy, but kind of worried. I can't help but smile dryly and scratch my head.
ケイチ君、もう行ってもいいんだよ。
Yeah, probably
高
should.
野さんがからかっているだけさ。
They say goodbye and run off. They say goodbye again and run off. I heard Tomotage-san call out behind in a clear voice that we would see each other at the festival tomorrow. When I went to the tent, Mion was waiting for me, and she was nowhere to be found. I made her wait so long. Maybe she got mad and went home. After asking some adults passing by, I heard that she went home, talking to some relatives. Maybe I shouldn't have done that, but my regret for having made Mion wait wasn't enough to triumph over the impression Takano-san and Shion's uncanny story left on me. I just said Shiro. Wow. Serial murder incidents had happened 4 years in a row, but tomorrow's events make this the 5th? And the possibility that someone from Hinamizawa was carrying this all out under the guise of the curse. The queer tradition of ritual sacrifice, entirely unbecoming of the Showa period we lived in. The queer tradition? I'm going to assume that has some meaning that I just don't know. Hold on. Strange, odd. Oh. Well, no wonder that's considered a slur. I never really looked into the word that much. I guess it makes sense that if it meant strange or odd, right, that it would be considered a slur. Okay. That's good to know. Not like I was saying the word anyways, but I regretted it a little. Oh, it's too late. If none of those creepy stories had anything to do with me, I should have let Mion pull me away from that crowd. I felt a little ashamed about letting my cheap curiosity get the better of me. Yeah, I have a feeling that it's not going to be a simple resolution as like, oh, my bad. I feel like she's going to be very not happy about that. Yeah, that's just my worry, at least. Oh my god. That's a lot of tips. Alright. Guess let's go ahead and read them all. Scrapbook 1. Or from the Scrapbook 1. Are these like parts? Oyashiro-Sama's curse. In the ancient Onigafuchi village, the anger of Oyashiro-Sama, his curse, was feared above all. However, it is seldom stated anywhere what eventually happens and what sort of divine judgment, curse, befalls them when Oyashiro-Sama is angry. From various reports, all hell will break loose. Demons will come flooding out. The miasma from hell will flood outward and kill every villager, letting not a single one escape. The ones evoking images of the village being annihilated stand out the most. These terrifying ideas of divine punishment are in alignment with many other religious beliefs regarding the apocalypse, hell, and it's easy to imagine that they are just ways of convincing people to obey the teachings in order to prevent such an end. The conditions for inciting Oyashiro-Sama's wrath are likely the same as the taboos in the Onikafuchi village. I believe that when an act was performed that violates one of these taboos, Oyashiro-Sama was termed angry, and in order to quell his anger, they would perform the aforementioned sacrificial ritual. That would make sense. It would make sense if this was all just a way to control people. That's kind of what I was saying earlier, but... in the scrapbook 2. The human sacrifice ritual. The sacrificial ritual was a simple drowning, involving plunging sacrifices into Onigafuchi swamp, which was considered hallowed. Of the rituals of Onigafuchi village, this one was unique in that the sacrifice would sink slowly over the long course of 3 days and 3 nights. I believe that it wasn't so much the killing of the sacrifice that was important, but rather the symbolism of them sinking as the submerging of Oyashiro-Sama's anger. For that purpose, they must have had a passion for learning various methods for keeping the sacrifice from sinking too quickly, to force them to sink more slowly. Unfortunately, as far as I can tell from the records, these methods were not recorded. My thoughts are that they may have used logs or some similar material to create a raft, then set up a scaffold on there, hung the sacrifice up with ropes, and let them sink little by little over time into the swamp. However, if that were the case, it would not be strange if the ritual implements used for such a ceremony were honored as holy and enshrined somewhere. But we haven't seen anything like that, have we? Maybe they're just somewhere we haven't seen, but... Alright, we haven't seen anything like... said what? Some rope? And logs? I don't think we've seen anything like that. We'll definitely have to keep an eye out. From the scrapbook 3. Implements used for the ritual. Ritual tools utilized for ancient religious ceremonies are commonly referred to as implements or ritual implements, and even now, some of them are enshrined on the property of Furude Shrine and the 3 families. However, the identifiable tools are all decorative, and none appear to have been used in rituals governing the dark side of Onigafuchi village. As the Edo era came to a close, and many traditional rituals were lost, were they lost as well? Or perhaps buried in the darkness? I don't believe so. Both the implements used on the night of the feast of Onikakushi and those used during the sacrificial ceremony must still exist, enshrined away from the eyes of the masses. Without a doubt they exist here, today, at this very moment in Hinamizawa. Also, I'm nearly certain that where they've been enshrined. What was once locked steadfastly has, for some reason, changed this year to a cheap-looking padlock. You may be able to do something about such a lock. However, it is not far from the assembly hall, nor is it ever far from the presence of people. However, I will not give up. The night when it becomes a blind spot to every villager in Hinamizawa is coming soon. Soon it will be Watanagashi. Ooh. Interesting. Okay. I see. So there might be some kind of room where all of the stuff for the sacrifice ritual is being held. And it seems to be near, I mean, in the Furude Shrine, near the assembly hall, right? The security suddenly was downgraded, right? I'm not gonna lie, that's suspicious. Let's check the last tip before anything else. I have a feeling it's not gonna have that much to do with it. It looks like the police perspective of the Watanagashi coming up. Rabble.
Oi, oi. 今日のうちからへばっててどうすんだよ。本番は明日だぞ。
Oh, maybe not.
明日は最後の最後。バッチリ深夜まで燃え上がっていくんだからな。よっせ。気合い入れてきます。
Oh, okay, so that is a police officer. Actually, yeah, now that I think about it, that is one of the police officers, but...
よし、若さが一番だ。
みんなお疲れさん。渡流しはいよいよ明日だからな。今夜は早めに眠って体力を蓄えておいてくれよ。
Tomorrow is finally Watanagashi. Festivals are split into 2 groups, those who enjoy them and those who support them. The former only need prepare their minds, but the latter needs not only that, but also painstakingly crafted plans and preliminary arrangements. While the general majority attending goes about enjoying the festival without care in the world, we'll be strained the whole way through. Why?
そりゃ決まってるだろう。全部終わった後のビールがうまいからだよ。
Man, people in this game sure love their beer after work. At times like these, it's best to have energetic, physically fit people. It wouldn't be worth it if you didn't do your best until the end, enjoying it the whole way.
ああ、来ました。
Oishi-san came in. Everyone hurried to stand up. Okay, then wait, who is this from the perspective of? So it seems like somebody who is going to be there with painstakingly crafted plans and preliminary arrangements. That wasn't said a lot. At times like these, it's best to have energetic, physically fit people. It wouldn't be worth it if you didn't do your best until the end, enjoying it the whole way. Oishi-san came in, everyone hurried to stand up.
はいはい、皆さんお疲れ様ですね。そのままで結構ですよ。
お疲れ様です。
Not even my seniors, who usually talk big about themselves, can hold a candle to Oishi-san. The first person I think of when I hear the physically fit, right, is it's Tomatake. But is there any reason to believe he's an undercover police officer? Hold on.
お疲れ様です。
If his voice is in there, I can't hear it. Yeah, if it's there, I can't tell. It could be. There's probably a third voice in there. It's just too hard to tell. It's worth noting we've only seen 2 names, so they are so far not identifying who that third person is. Not even my seniors, who usually talk big about themselves, can hold a candle to Oishi-san. We all bow as if we were one of those cheering squads of old. Wait, why did I say... 3? I saw 3 sets of quotes, so I'd assume it was 3 people. Kurado Oishi, a detective just waiting to retire. One who doesn't pay much mind to rules and regulations. He doesn't do too much in the way of real work. He looks like a rotten old man with a penchant for dirty jokes. My seniors, though, tell me he was a real fighter in his younger days, and that he may or may not have quite a heroic legend trailing behind him. Anyway, he surely had much more dignity and presence in the room than the section chief who came in with him.
皆さん、明日のWatanagashiの準備、本当にお疲れさんです。
Everyone present stands upright and lends their ears to the chief's directions.
昨年発生したように、連続事件を期待する愉快犯の出現が濃厚に危惧されます。各員、一層気を引き締め、犯罪の抑止のために任務を全うしてください。
Man, good luck with that.
何も起こらなければ一番いいんですがね。ですが皆さん、
Last 4 years, we're 4 for 4.
必ず事件は起こると考えてくださいよ。抑止が一番ですが、まあ多分無理でしょう。今年も誰かが死んで誰かが消えます。
Yeah.
もう間違いなく。
That's a little dark, but yeah, probably. Everyone, apart from the section chief, smiled painfully.
おいさん、そんなんじゃ困るよ。もっと真剣にやってくれなきゃ。
He's extremely serious.
肝心なのは、祭りの夜を越すことじゃないんです。気合い入れてくよ。兜の尾を引き締めてき。
Clench those cheeks, boys.
Oyashiro-Samaのたたりの化けの皮を完璧にひっぺかしてやるぞ。うわっ！
It's an interesting perspective. We still don't... Wait, did we get the third name there at the end? We might have, actually. That could have also been the section chief if it was a new one. So we don't know who that last one was. When I see physically fit, right, I think immediately to Tomatake, right? He's like the only really one that fits that description, but, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be him. It could just be someone named Officer, but the fact that they're deliberately not naming them makes me a little suspicious, but... Wasn't there some suspicion as to Tomatake's true identity? No, was it Takano's? Somebody's true identity in Chapter 1 was like a bit of a mystery. Anyway, so let's talk about what we learned today. We kind of got the same tale that we already had, but with a unique spin on it, right? We're specifically focusing on the Onikakushi. Kind of funny that the chapter named Onikakushi focuses less on the Onikakushi than this chapter so far, but whatever. You know, whatever. I'm just trying to think. So the question is, of course, we were told that the person being demoned away was a ritual sacrifice. Do we believe it or do we not? It's kind of hard. The tips make me believe it more than I initially had. Because it seems very possible that somebody would be like kidnapped and sacrificed, but how would they not be found? Right? The ritual takes 3 days and 3 nights. Like, how would their body not be found in that time? Isn't the whole point that they're not supposed to, like, fully submerge? Like, they're supposed to submerge really slowly? Wouldn't they be found pretty quick? I don't know. But like the note said, there was the one room that suddenly the security isn't as tight. Right? Maybe it's because it needs to be accessed. Maybe it has some of the things that are... Maybe it has something being hidden there. Right? Could that be like a secret group of people? Maybe. Could that be the rituals used for the sacrifice? It's quite possible. It's worth noting that, as far as we can tell, didn't Rika and Satoko completely vanish on the night of the Watanagashi last time? Could it have been related to the person that was demoned away? I don't know. This one's tough. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it really wouldn't surprise me if it was them being sacrificed to try to quell the anger of the gods. Otherwise, the village would be blown away. But I also really wouldn't be that surprised if this was all just a group of people using these murders to control people. Well, I believe that either way right now. And that I wouldn't be that surprised if the person being demoned away is the killer. Right? Because of Takano. Right? It feels like she's really connected to Tomatake's death from last chapter. The more I think about it. And you can kind of make the case that anybody in the anybody that got demoned away, you can kind of make the case that they could have easily been responsible for that death. You know? I don't know. It's tough. Right now, I might be leaning on the side of they're the murderer, but it's really hard to say. I could easily see it not being that. I'm not like super steadfast in this prediction. But we kind of talked what was in the scrapbook, right? How this one was about the killings themselves. This one was about the ritual and how there had to be some kind of implements. Oh no, this one was about the not the killings themselves. This was about the kind of the legend behind it. And how they seem to just believe that this was from the perspective of, or this was somebody who was just trying to control the masses, right? With these tales of if Oyashiro-Sama is angered, the village will be wiped away because the demons will come out from and they'll start in the village, right? And it could be easily used to control a group of people, and that's what they seem to believe. This one was about the sacrifice itself. This one was about how they believed that they found where the tools might be. Interesting stuff. Also, I want to point out we don't know whose scrapbook this is. I don't know. I just kind of keep thinking the idea of Tomatake, right, as this like undercover police officer, if he's working as a photographer and is here a lot, he could easily be writing these things down, gathering the past lore of this place, and writing it down somewhere and planning on doing something about it. Maybe that's what got him killed in Chapter 1. Maybe he did something similar. I don't know, because somebody is unnamed in all 4 of these. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same person, and Tomitake is like the first person I think of. I don't know. I don't know. God. But, I think that's basically it for this episode. Oh, actually, we should talk about the fact that I wouldn't be surprised if the fact that we listened to all of that, got all that information from Shion, results in Mion being very not happy with us, and that's why we see them go feral. Right? Like the village start going feral if we're going to see that again. Right? I wouldn't be surprised if it starts with Mion. Right? That's my worry right now. Ugh. That is my worry right now. I'm also kind of worried. I'm pretty worried that Shion's going to die in the next episode. But I guess we'll see when we get there. That is all I have for today. Let me go ahead and save the game, actually. We'll just save over that. That's all I have for today. I hope you guys have enjoyed. It's been a pretty long episode. Like, this is one of the longer ones I think this very well might be the longest Higurashi episode I've recorded. I should probably split this in 2, but I don't think I will. I might just give you guys one big episode to enjoy. Anyways, like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed both parts, or both chapters today. I thought they were both great. I've talked in length about them both now. But we're going to wrap it up for today. I don't know when the next episode will be out. I'm really enjoying the game. I feel like I've been recording a lot more consistently. So hopefully it'll be out soon. Whenever that comes out, I'm hoping to see you guys at the Watanagashi, man. I already know next episode is gonna be crazy. For sure. And so I'm hoping to catch you all there. But until then, peace.